let's get started and uh, keep introducing our next battles for our next teams for battle number 5. The first team leader of this battle being the Random Bayleefs, led by Brody Ring, playing for the Wild Foundation. Currently second place, another undefeated team at 4-0 here. Having more knockouts though, so their ranking is just going, or having more feints, so the ranking of the team is just going to be naturally lower than the two feints of the cross-branded brawlers. But the Brandon Bailey's looking to continue their undefeated streak today. We see the OU Mon just being an um, absolutely terrifying set of the Ursaluna and the Hatterene. Ursaluna just being, I think he's shown up. I haven't seen anything that this Ursaluna can do though, but it has shown up. It just hasn't been able to make an appearance yet. Because the last time I showed up was with this Hatterene who did Trick Room and get 3 knockouts. Hatterene, of course, being a really good Trick Room setter for itself and for the rest of this pretty generally slow team. Trick Room being a really good strat for this team. The Yuyumons of this team being the Primarina at 2-0, and the Rotom Heat leading the charge of this team at 8-1, getting so many knockouts with its use of both Overheat and Discharge. Just having very little weaknesses too, just being water and rock, I believe. Having levitate so it can't get hit by ground type moves. We see the Arumons of this team being the Metagross at 1-2, the Salazzle at 0-1, and the Flygon at 2-1. The Metagross having a really good, what's the word? Just good defenses and a good attack stat. And the defense is able to get even stronger with the Cosmic Power move set that it can run. And of course, Flygon having a fantastic typing, only being weak to Dragon and quad weak to Ice. Flygon having just really good move set, really good potential as well. Flygon is like the boy. He's so good. You've heard that if you build your Weezing with special defense, you're trolling. I mean... Oh, it's also weak to Fairy. You're right. Yeah, it did live in Ice Beam, which surprised the heck out of me. But I think, was it in the Sandstorm, though? Because if it was in the Sandstorm, it does get a special defense boost from the Sandstorm. Anyway, Flygon just really good. The Enumons of this team being the Chansey and Gigalith, each at 1-2, and the Bombardier not showing his face quite yet. Yeah, the Chansey just able to survive with its Eviolite. And just, I mean, yeah, low defenses, but if you built it defensively, it can just sit there and stall the heck out of you. Gigalith being a really good sand setter for this team that could pretty much benefit a lot from the Sandstorm as well, with the Ursaluna, Metagross, Flygon specifically being Pokemon that can directly benefit from that Sandstorm. The Piyumons of this team being the Dodrio and the Poliwrath, each at 3-0, and the Shedinja and Eldegoss not having shown their face yet. I really might want to trade for that Eldegoss because I need my baby back. I love Eldegoss, it's so good. But yeah, just a really strong team, really good team looking to get their next win. But to do that, they will have to go through me, the Frosty Vulpix, led by Vulpix Aura, playing for Friends of Animals, currently 5th place at 3-1. Having my only loss against the Goldenrod Goldingos so far. Eldegoss is amazing. Oh, Eldegoss is so good. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I ran it in the PCL. So last time I had it, I would run Substitute. I'd run Cotton Down. So every time it gets hit, it would lower the Pokemon speed. I would go for a Cotton Guard to boost my defenses. I would go for a Substitute. I would go for a Leak Seed. I would go for a Giga Drain. And it would just survive. And it was so good. That Pokemon, I love Eldegoss. It is so good. I really wish I had it back, but I like my team. So my team, the Oyumons being the Masquerada and the Alola Ninetales, leading the team so far with the Masquerada at 8-2, and then Alola Ninetales at 6-2. We see the Yumons of this team being the Hisuian Zoroark, picking up its first knockout last week, and the Haxorus at 2-3. My Haxorus just unfortunately having been countered pretty much every time it's shown up. Haven't been able to get too much usage out of it yet. The Argumons of this team being the Florges at 1-0, the Indeedee at 0-2, and the newly traded Ninetales. I have my full team back, my babies, my two Ninetales. Ninetales not having shown up quite yet. I traded my Ninetales. Oh, I forgot to say a rule that happened. So we made a little bit of a rule change. Um, so yeah, this is actually a perfect time to bring this up because I was the one who did it. But we decided that if you made a trade, like a free agent trade or a trade with somebody, and you realize that Pokemon just hasn't fit with your team, and you couldn't find a way to make it work, you're able to have one trade cancel per season. So, what? I'm confused. But anyway, so that each team can have one trade cancel. So, for between team leaders, both the team leaders have to say like, yeah, no, we don't want these Pokemon. We can just trade these back. We can cancel this trade. But the conditions for the trade cancel is that the Pokemon can't have shown up in a battle once at all, like not even shown its face, and it has to be within a month of making the trade. So, if those two conditions are met, and you just want to cancel a trade that you made, you now can do that. It's like a refund policy. Um, so I refunded my Primeape to Politoed trade, and I instead cashed it in for a Primeape to Ninetales trade. So that happened. Um, anyway, so yeah, the Ninetales coming back to me. I'm happy. The Enumons of this team being the Umbreon at 0-1, the Sceptile not having shown his face yet, and the Daytime Lycanroc form at 1-2. I don't know Ninetales that bad. I mean, yes, but also it's been something that I've been considering for the past couple weeks because after I traded that Politoed, I was like, I can't use this. I can't. This can't fit with my team right now. I've been wanting to bring it up, but I just kept forgetting because I was too focused on my battles that I kept forgetting to be like, hey, what about this idea? But when Ninetales became available, I was like, wait, I have an idea that I wanted to share. So yeah. The PU-mons of this team being the Malamar at 0-1, the Centiskorch at 1-0, the Bulga at 0-0, and the Lantern, surprisingly, at 3-2. Lantern, I love Lantern, man. It's such a good boy. It makes me happy. Um, but I don't like talking about my team. I'm not gonna talk about my team. We're just gonna go right into it. Let's look at the starting lineups of these two teams. Why don't we? We see the Bayleefs with this Hatterene and the Metagross here. Really good combo, I think, these two. Um, we see the Rotom Heat making its appearance again, and the Chansey growth showing up. I hate Chansey. And we also see the Flygon here, too, and the Bombardier making its first ever appearance. Which kind of makes me excited because I really want to see what Bombardier can do, but it also scared me because I didn't know what Bombardier can do. We see the Frosty Vulpix with the Meowscarada Ninetales combo here. We also see the Haxorus coming back. We see the Lycanroc Day coming back as well with the Emolga and the Lantern. The good boy is coming back. Well, the good boy, at least, because he's a doggo and doggo is good boy. Yeah, I will be upfront and say that I was absolutely panicking for this battle when it happened. I was anxiety, I was shaking, and let's get started and see how this battle goes. Why don't we? The Bayleefs immediately leading with the Bombardier making its first appearance right away, and the Frosty Doggo, the Lycanroc, making its first appearance. The Sword Dance being set up right away from the Lycanroc, with the Stealth Rock being set up from the Bird. The Accelerock, though, taking the Bird to his Focus Sash, and the U-turn then coming in, doing some pretty decent damage to the dog, with the Metagross being switched in instead of the thing. The Accelerock, though, the prediction, not doing too much damage, and the Meteor Mash misses the doggo, unfortunately. A close combat then comes through, does a lot of damage to this Metagross. And the Cosmic Power starts being set up. Another close combat coming through and leaving the Metagross at just 1 HP, with the Metagross going for the rest and restoring all of its HP now. Other close combat coming through. This doggo just getting weaker and weaker with its defenses, but just trying to go for this knockout here. Another close combat coming through. With the Metagross just taking a nap on the field, though. The immediate switch into the Bombardier then, just to get the close combat and get the bird out of the fight. With the doggo at such low defenses now, the Flygon then comes through. An Iron Head comes through trying to get the flinch, but it does not. The Earthquake able to connect and take down the rest of the Lycanroc's HP. Then Frosty Squirrel, the Emolga comes through. The Flygon switching into this Chansey. With the Defog then being set up to clear the rocks from the field. And the Tailwind set up from this Emolga. With the Toxic then coming through to poison this Squirrel and put it on a timer. The Emolga then switches out into the Meowscarada. Frosty Aurora with the Seismic Toss doing a little bit of damage to this Meowscarada. The knockoff then comes through, taking it to about half HP, but then knocking the Eviolite off, which is pretty important for this Chansey. The Toxic then coming through, connecting to the Meowscarada. And then the switch right into the Frosty Fish, the Lantern, with Soft Boil then coming through from this Chansey. And then the Heal Ball then comes through from the Lantern to cure the entire team of the poison. But the Toxic then comes through, and yes, the Chansey is named Doom. Terrifying. The fish being poisoned switches into the Haxorus, though. With a Seismic Toss coming through, doing some chip damage to this Haxorus. Chansey then switches into the Rotom Heat. With the Dragon Dance then being set up for this Haxorus. And the Mold Breaker Earthquake connecting, landing on the Rotom, taking it down in just one hit. The Flygon then coming through to replace it. A close combat then comes through, takes down the Flygon. And then Hatterene comes in. But the super effective Poison Jab from the Haxorus takes down the Hatterene. And Chansey then comes back. But another close combat connects, takes down the Chansey, and it's just the Metagross left, who is asleep right now. The Earthquake connecting and taking down the Metagross, leaving the Frosty Vulpix as the winner of this battle against the Brandon Bayleefs.